Have you ever heard a song play on the radio for the very first time and instantly knew you would remember it for the rest of your life? The music industry of the 1980s was a crowded and unforgiving battlefield. Sometimes incredibly gifted artists only captured the world's attention for one brief, shining moment. But what a magnificent moment it was. We are not looking at lucky pop accidents today. We are exploring absolute masterclasses in songwriting, brilliant studio innovations, and timeless vocal performances that deserved way more respect. They may have faded from the charts, but their musical genius still commands us to sing along. Today, we are counting down 10 forgotten 80s one-hit wonders you still know by heart. Number 10. Tarzan Boy by Baltimora, released in 1985. Listen to that sound. It is fascinating how a simple electronic jungle call became the universal language of joy for an entire generation. While rock critics were busy searching for deep philosophical lyrics, millions of people just wanted to feel alive on the dance floor. The mastermind behind this vibrant Italo-disco anthem was an Italian producer named Maurizio Bassi. He possessed a brilliant studio mind, but knew he did not fit the visual mold of an MTV pop star. So he made a surprisingly practical decision. He recorded his own robust, flawless vocals and hired the charismatic Irish dancer Jimmy McShane to be the face of the project. What some purists dismissed as a mere lip-syncing act was actually a pioneering piece of audio-visual performance art. Bassi engineered a flawless synthesizer groove, while McShane delivered the wild, captivating energy the visual era demanded. The true genius of Tarzan Boy lies in its structural perfection. By replacing complex verses with a soaring, wordless chant, the song completely destroyed all language barriers across Europe and the United States. It reached number 13 on the Billboard Hot 100, but its cultural footprint is immeasurable. Long after the critics put down their pens, this remarkably enduring melody continued to echo through movies, commercials, and retro parties. It proves that sometimes the most profound musical achievement is simply making the whole world smile at exactly the same time. And speaking of resilience, our next artist took a harsh industry rejection and turned it into pure gold. Number 9. Break My Stride by Matthew Wilder, released in 1983. Imagine walking into the office of the most powerful record executive in the world, playing your heart out, and being told your music has absolutely no potential. That is exactly what happened to Matthew Wilder when he presented his demo tapes to a legendary music mogul. Instead of letting that rejection break his spirit, Wilder channeled his frustration into pure creative defiance. What everyone missed was the sheer brilliance of the production. Wilder crafted a remarkably infectious reggae pop rhythm and layered it with a cutting-edge Prophet 5 synthesizer. It was a puzzling combination for traditional critics, who often dismissed his unique falsetto delivery. They failed to recognize the incredible vocal control required to maintain that bright, piercing tone while delivering a message of absolute resilience. I sailed away to China in a little rowboat to find you. The public, however, understood the assignment immediately. They embraced the track, pushing it to the top 5 on the Billboard Hot 100. But the ultimate irony was how Wilder won the long game. And you said you had to get your laundry clean. He eventually stepped behind the scenes to become a highly sought-after producer, crafting multi-million-selling albums for bands like No Doubt, and even lending his vocal talents to classic Disney films. It is a surprisingly enduring reminder that true talent, fueled by unyielding positivity, will always outlast the gatekeepers. Now, speaking of artists who possessed skills far beyond their public image, let us look at our next masterpiece. Number 8. Too Shy by Kajagoogoo, released in 1983. It is a cultural anomaly how a band is often remembered more for their hairspray than their actual musicianship. When Kajagoogoo burst onto the scene with their flamboyant mullets and vibrant fashion, traditional rock critics immediately wrote them off as a manufactured pop product for teenagers. But if you closed your eyes and just listened, you were experiencing something entirely different. What everyone missed was the absolute sheer musical skill required to build this track. Underneath the glossy synthesizer melodies lies a fiercely complex funk foundation. Bassist Nick Beggs utilized an incredibly sophisticated slap bass technique that locked into a surprisingly intricate rhythm. It was not just a simple pop beat. It was a masterclass in groove, elevating the song into a highly sophisticated piece of funk pop architecture. The public devoured it, sending the track to the top of the UK singles chart and number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100. The ultimate irony was that the same critics who dismissed their visual style failed to realize the technical brilliance happening right in front of them. Today, that signature bass line is widely celebrated by professional musicians around the world as a true benchmark of the synth-pop era. It is surprisingly enduring, proving that true artistry can always outshine the loudest fashion statements. And speaking of incredible instrumental skills hidden in plain sight, our next artist took a movie soundtrack and turned it into an adrenaline-fueled masterpiece. Moving in circles, won't you dilate? Number 7. Maniac by Michael Sembello, released in 1983. There was a time when film soundtracks were often dismissed by traditional critics as mere commercial tools designed just to sell movie tickets. But every once in a while, a soundtrack delivers a standalone masterpiece of musical engineering. Listen to that relentless rhythm. Michael Sembello was not some lucky pop newcomer. He was a highly respected virtuoso guitarist who had previously worked with the legendary Stevie Wonder, and he brought that absolute elite level of musicianship right into the studio to create this adrenaline-fueled track. Sembello masterfully programmed the drum machine to build a tense, almost claustrophobic atmosphere. But the true crowning achievement of this song happens right in the middle. Out of nowhere, he unleashes one of the most blistering and explosive electric guitar solos of the entire decade. It is a breathtaking moment where he perfectly fuses the cold precision of modern electronic pop with the raw, burning soul of classic rock. The song rightfully skyrocketed to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and even earned an Academy Award nomination. While some tried to box it in as just a dance anthem for the movie Flashdance, the sheer technical brilliance of the instrumentation proved them completely wrong. Today, it remains the ultimate gold standard for cinematic pop music. It is a brilliant reminder that a world-class musician can turn any project into an immortal piece of art. And speaking of cinematic atmospheres, our next song took us on a mesmerizing journey into the vast, lonely expanse of outer space. Number 6. Major Tom Coming Home by Peter Schilling, released in 1983. It is a remarkably ambitious move to borrow a legendary character from one of the greatest rock stars in history. When Peter Schilling decided to continue the story of David Bowie's iconic astronaut, rock purists found it highly polarizing. Some quickly dismissed it as an imitation. But what everyone missed was the deep, genuine reverence woven into every single note. This was not a calculated cash grab. It was a beautiful, atmospheric love letter to the space age. Schilling crafted a mesmerizing synth-pop universe, using layers of chilling synthesizers to simulate the weightless, breathtaking isolation of outer space. It perfectly captured the collective anxiety and romantic yearning of the Cold War era. Listen to the way the rhythm propels you upward, mimicking a rocket leaving the Earth's atmosphere. The public completely surrendered to its gravity, pushing it to number 14 on the Billboard Hot 100. The ultimate irony was that the song eventually stepped completely out of Bowie's shadow to become a standalone cultural anomaly. More than 40 years later, this surprisingly enduring masterpiece of electronic storytelling remains the absolute gold standard for any cinematic journey into the unknown. It proves that a sincere tribute can rise to become a legend in its own right. And speaking of unforgettable atmospheres, our next track engineered a completely different kind of tension, making us feel like someone is always watching from the shadows.
No one understands, but Major Tom sees all the life commands.
Number 5. Somebody's Watching Me by Rockwell, released in 1984.
I always feel like somebody's watching me.
It is a fascinating cultural anomaly when an artist actively tries to hide their prestigious background just to prove their own worth. Kennedy Gordy, the son of the powerful Motown founder, absolutely refused to ride his father's coattails. He took the stage name Rockwell and channeled his own genuine feelings of paranoia into a remarkably brilliant piece of songwriting.
People call me on the phone, I'm trying to avoid.
The production value on this track is absolutely stellar. Rockwell engineered a chilling blend of R&B and synth pop. He used a deliberately flat, almost spoken word vocal delivery in the verses to build incredible psychological tension. It makes the listener physically feel the exact anxiety and paranoia he was experiencing.
Can the people on TV see me, or am I just paranoid?
But his ultimate stroke of genius was who he brought into the studio. Rockwell invited his childhood friend, Michael Jackson, who was at the absolute peak of his global power, to sing the chorus.
Neighbors always remind me of Psycho too much. That's why.
While some skeptics unfairly tried to credit the song's massive success entirely to Jackson's guest appearance, they completely missed the architectural brilliance of the track itself. Reaching number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100, the song has become a surprisingly enduring masterpiece. It proves that a meticulously crafted rhythm and a brilliant concept will always stand the test of time. Now, as we move closer to the top of our list, get ready for a burst of pure, unadulterated sunshine.
I always feel like somebody's watching me.
Number 4. Walking on Sunshine by Katrina and the Waves, released in 1985. Some songs are just catchy, but others are literal masterpieces of emotional engineering. When the band first wrote this track, it was originally intended to be a slower, more dramatic ballad. However, the lead singer, Katrina Leskanich, possessed a massive, soulful voice that simply refused to be contained. She transformed the song into a pure, unapologetic explosion of joy. What critics often mistakenly dismissed as simple bubblegum pop was actually a brilliantly arranged piece of pop-rock architecture. Instead of relying on cheap studio synthesizers, the band utilized a spectacular live horn section and a relentless, driving drum beat. The vocal performance was recorded in almost a single, flawless take, capturing a lightning strike of raw, unadulterated energy that simply cannot be faked.
Walking on sunshine. Wow.
Reaching number 9 on the Billboard Hot 100, the song has achieved something very few tracks ever do. Decades later, neuroscientists actually studied this exact track and concluded that its specific tempo of 137 beats per minute, combined with its major chord progression, creates the absolute perfect chemical reaction of dopamine in the human brain. It is not just a feel-good anthem, it is scientifically proven musical perfection. It proves that creating pure happiness is a highly sophisticated art form. And speaking of incredible artistic craftsmanship, our next band took a brilliant electronic illusion and turned it into a breathtaking rock and roll miracle. Number 3. In a Big Country by Big Country, released in 1983. It is a profound tragedy when true musical innovation gets misinterpreted as a cheap novelty trick. When this soaring, anthemic track hit the American airwaves, many listeners assumed the band simply brought traditional Scottish bagpipes into the studio. But the reality of what was happening on this record was nothing short of a technical miracle. Frontman Stuart Adamson was an absolute virtuoso. He did not use bagpipes at all. Instead, he engineered that iconic swirling sound using heavily processed Yamaha electric guitars, lightning-fast picking techniques, and a pitch transposer. It was a groundbreaking display of instrumental mastery that completely redefined what a guitar could sound like. He wove the proud, rugged soul of the Scottish Highlands right into the fabric of modern arena rock. Reaching number 17 on the Billboard Hot 100, the song was originally written as a passionate message of resilience and hope for the struggling working class. While some American critics unfairly labeled them a one-hit wonder based on a perceived gimmick, their European audience rightfully revered them as stadium rock heroes.
Like a lover's voice far from mountainside.
Decades later, Adamson's incredibly innovative guitar work is still studied by professional musicians as textbook perfection. It is a wildly majestic anthem that reminds us to never underestimate the pure magic of human creativity. Now, speaking of profound messages hidden in plain sight, our next artist managed to disguise a terrifying global warning as an innocent, bouncy dance track.
Way to look for someone who is still a child.
Number 2. 99 Luftballons by Nena, released in 1983. It is a terrifying concept to imagine the end of the world starting by absolute accident. During a rock concert in West Berlin, guitarist Carlo Carges watched a cluster of balloons float into the sky and wondered what would happen if military radar mistook them for a nuclear strike. From that haunting thought, the band Nena engineered a flawless anti-war masterpiece. What makes this track a stroke of absolute genius is the stark contrast between its message and its melody. Instead of crafting a gloomy, depressing protest song, the band wrapped their terrifying warning in a vibrant, driving funk bass line. The upbeat, bouncy rhythm acts as a brilliant disguise, drawing listeners onto the dance floor before delivering a devastating message about the fragility of peace. The execution was so perfect that it completely shattered language barriers. The original German version remarkably climbed all the way to number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100. an incredibly rare achievement for a non-English track in the United States. The public proved that you do not need to understand every single word to feel the profound emotional weight of a song. Decades later, it remains one of the most culturally significant pop anthems ever recorded, proving that the most powerful warnings can be delivered with a smile. And finally, speaking of undeniable anthems, our number one spot is a stadium rock monument with a vocal performance that defies gravity. Number 1. Your Love by The Outfield, released in 1986.
I don't wanna lose your love tonight.
It is a true testament to the absolute power of a perfect melody that a song about infidelity can be universally embraced as a triumphant stadium anthem. Guitarist John Spinks famously wrote this masterpiece in just 20 minutes, intending to capture the complex hidden reality of a secret romance.
I just wanna use your love tonight.
While some listeners focused solely on the questionable morality of the lyrics, they entirely missed the breathtaking musical architecture at play. The true magic of this track lies in the sheer, undeniable brilliance of lead singer Tony Lewis. His crystal-clear tenor voice possesses an otherworldly quality, soaring effortlessly above the driving, explosive guitars.
I ain't got many friends left to talk to.
That pristine vocal performance completely transformed a story of betrayal into an irresistible celebration of passion. Reaching number 6 on the Billboard Hot 100, the song defied every expectation and outlived all of its early critics. It was a masterclass in how pure vocal emotion can override any narrative. Decades later, this track remains an immortal monument of rock and roll. You can hear it echoing through massive sports stadiums and packed bars across the United States, sung at the top of their lungs by thousands of people who simply surrender to its flawless energy. It is the ultimate proof that an extraordinary voice can elevate any story into an absolute masterpiece. From an electronic jungle call echoing across the dance floor, to bagpipes conjured from pure electric guitar magic, and a terrifying nuclear warning cleverly disguised as innocent floating balloons, we have traveled through a truly remarkable decade. These artists may have only captured the spotlight for a fleeting moment, but their brilliant melodies became the permanent soundtrack of our lives. They remind us that true musical genius does not need decades of fame to achieve immortality. If you want to keep this time machine running and uncover more hidden stories behind the music, make sure to subscribe to our station. Before I sign off for the night, I want to know, which of these unforgettable anthems instantly transports you back to your favorite memory?